Woohoo! We're back.
Hello, Amanda.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What's going on? What's new?
I was thinking as that intro came on that maybe one of these days we'll time it well where we can like make the poses as it's coming up on our
I was
live
trying.
screens.
I was trying. I was a little behind. I only have the couple though. That's okay. Hey, before we get started, 2 weeks ago you teased that we should start a new thing about what we're drinking during this recording.
Oh yeah,
I've got in front of me. This is diet green tea and lemonade,
in
and
a
it's
fancy
delicious. And it's a
glass.
beautiful, sexy glass. I'll tell you, about 10 years ago, my wife and I decided we had diet green tea and vodka, and we were going to call it the healthy Russian. And I think that was one of those business opportunities we just blew. That's a great
You missed
idea.
it.
You know what I mean?
You missed it. Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, I'm real
I
exciting
regress.
today. I've got my Stanley full of water, but here's a fun fact about me, something you'll never find me without. I always have these little like lemon packets everywhere I go it's like dehydrated lemon and I put it in water. I have them in my purse. Actually, at a few industry shows, people have made fun of me because they're like, "Did you just pull lemon stuff out of your purse?" And I was, yeah, sure did.
Lemon?
So,
No, I'm not laughing. Lemons are they're super healthy for this. They help out. If you want to, you're told you're supposed to drink 8 glasses of water a day and something like that. Put lemon
right,
in there. It tastes delicious. It's healthy for you. I'm
right.
not gonna make fun of that. That's great.
It's
Yep,
like a silly thing,
absolutely.
but it almost guarantees that I'm way more likely to drink like my full water or more throughout the day. So
Right. Yep.
I don't know. I just go with it.
That's a good start. Well, we made it back. We had our first fledgling episode 2 weeks ago, and here we are again. And
Yes.
I'm excited about to talk to people and get started. I've already looked up. I don't know about the people or the viewer that's watching, the one person, but I'm happy about it.
I think last time our last one, we kind of didn't know when we planned this, like how many people will want it midday or whatever. So we just figured, whatever, why don't we just do it? And if someone wants to watch the replay, that's fine. Like, why not? So,
On
yeah.
demand.
Anyways,
Mike and Amanda on demand. I like it.
Mike and
Yes.
Amanda on demand. Oh, I might have to make an image for that one. Except we'll both
We
have
could
to like
change the
make a
name of this at some
post where we can like
point.
click a play button. Click here. Oh, so Mike, okay,
You had a
it's
big
been.
weekend last weekend. Oh, go ahead.
I did. No, that's what I was going to say. It's
Take
been,
it away. Go ahead.
yeah. So, my daughter hit double digits this weekend, and like, listen, like she's at a fun age. This is so fun where we can, like interact more. She's kind of like independent, but when we get to have real conversation, but still, there's that moment of like, you're 10. How are you 10? And also, then, internally, then you're like, how am I old enough to have a 10-year-old? Ah. But, so today's like setting is I'm at home and I've got balloons next to me from her birthday this weekend. So it's fun stuff.
I mean,
But it was a big weekend. We
I
spent the
know.
weekend
It's
celebrating
a weird
her.
thing because no, and I like the fact that you celebrate the weekend too. It wasn't just the day. My wife, when she has her birthday, she demands in January. It's February, is birthday month. I hear about from Darlene.
I love that.
So, yeah.
You know what?
I
I decided like 2 to 3 years ago that as as kids, you get parties, you get to have fun. Like, why don't we get that as adults? It's kind of sad. Most adults don't appreciate their birthdays because we don't get those things. So a couple years ago, I told my husband, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start planning my own birthday parties because why not? It's an excuse to get together and everyone loves it. And he was like, that's kind of vain. Are you sure? And I was like, yes, I'm sure. I love birthdays. I want a reason to make everyone get together. So I plan a big party every year. Why not?
Yeah, no, and you should, and you're gonna get the party you want. You're gonna get the party you want
That's right.
because it's your party. And that's the way it goes.
That's right.
I found that
It's
all
my
the women,
party
that's
and
a
I'll
gender thing.
sing if I want to.
I think
Something,
it's a gender thing. All the women I know really, really, really into their birthdays. All the guys like, I don't know. But anyway,
That's true.
I
That's
was
true.
a
That
woman,
actually is a
and
pretty good sweeping statement because that is true. Most of the guys I know could care less about their birthday, and all the women are like, no,
I
you
sense
better
that.
celebrate me.
That's right. This is my day, and I was
my
very happy
day.
to see Virtual Vision gives us all our birthday off too, which is nice.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Some fun stuff.
So,
Fun stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been a good couple of weeks for us too. We've had a lot going on. We've laid back. I think we're the only people over the July 4th weekend who did nothing. We went to the beach a couple of days and kind of it was nice. Is every once in a while you got to do that?
Well, the
man.
The beach has got to be hot this time of year too.
It's hot. I remember when we first moved down here in 2014, I burned my feet on the sand. There was a nice welcome to Florida moment in the summer.
Oh, those
Legit.
good Midwestern feet, and then all the way to Florida.
That's right.
That's funny.
That's right.
I
So
love
now
it.
we know better. Yeah. But so what's next for Amanda? Now we had a big weekend this weekend. We got any personal travel coming up. We're kind of in a lull in the travel season in the restoration industry.
We are, which to be honest, I find this year or like this time of year, it takes me a little bit to settle into like the lull that happens. There's maybe a few shows, but really not like the major ones that happen all spring long. And so once I like settle into this, I'm like, oh, it is so nice to be home for more than 2 weeks at a time. Like you just get used to like turn and burn. Like I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna be home for 10 days, and I'm gonna leave again for another 5. So I actually appreciate the lull a little bit. Doesn't mean we're done traveling for the year, but not quite as much like back and forth as you get in the spring travel. So other than that, like personal travel, no, honestly, we usually try to go somewhere in the summer, but I traveled so much this spring. I was like, I just want to stay home. I just want to be around and not pack up in a suitcase again. So we're kind of staying put. What about you?
I am. Thanks for asking. In the next 2 weeks, I have 2 trips back to Gosland, Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, 2 of them.
Especially back to back. There's 2 of them. Well, I'm a board member of a great cause called the Orange Effect Foundation, which helps provide speech therapy for children, mainly autistic children. Big events in 2 weeks, but next week it is Zooterpalooza. All right, and as you can see, I'm a 2010 Hall of Famer in this great event. I'm very proud of that. 30th annual. I think my friend Ben Suter started this 3 years ago. I believe that's the first Palooza after Lollapalooza. Like everything's a Palooza now. This Palooza. I think Ben was the first one to do it. So it's just a bunch of guys getting together and having a lot of beer and playing golf all day and looking forward to it. So that's next weekend. More importantly,
I love it so much.
I carry
you
this with me
you had that
too.
plaque ready to go. I'm impressed.
And I duct tape it to my cart to make it just classless enough to be perfect for this event. It's not bronze or anything. Now we're gonna duct tape it on there with a cooler and let's go get him, Dad. My dad's my partner.
Funny.
Who and here's the scary part. When I told him this, when we started Zooterpalooza, I am now the age you were when we started, which makes us both feel really old, but that's okay. Anyway, we talk about Zootopalooza all day, but that's not what this show is about. Um,
I
hey,
like
one
the
big
name
show
of it
coming
though.
up.
It's
When
very
I was with
creative.
R&R, and thank you, and VNP, I remember, yeah, the first 6 months of the year, there's 800 events. And we
Right.
always, the spring experience, always try to find its way through all this. But the one nice thing about the other experience is it's kind of got the field to itself, and we're not that far away from that. About 6 weeks away, 7 weeks away, I believe, and
Yeah.
that's coming up. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of the first that like kicks off our just a couple. We just have a couple events that we're traveling to this fall. And that's really like the first big one. And honestly, like I love the spring experience. I have a great time at it. And I really appreciated this year because I felt like it was very personable. Like I got the opportunity to have very in-depth conversations with the people. But the Vegas show is like truly a whole separate entity in and of. I mean, it's Vegas, so you kind of expect that with it. And I'm sure we'll talk about it so much more as we get close. But that'll be our first one, and
Yep.
we've got some pretty good booth placement for that one. So I'm really excited about that.
You knew somebody pretty well that was in, running things at the time, and so you're really, and I have a little skin in the game, as they say. So I want to make sure this goes as well. I set the agenda, and I'm very proud of the agenda and the speakers, including yourself, of course. Layton
Yeah.
Healy and Garrett Gray are going to keynote. A lot of other big names. So yeah, so it's weird. Everybody knows by now Darlene is now the publisher of R&R, and which is great. But
Darlene, for
let's
those
get
who
to
are
the
listening and
show.
aren't familiar with who that is Mike's wife.
My wife, long story. She's been in the restoration industry for 10 years, a lot longer than I have. So it's a great story for another time. We could spend a good 40 minutes on that drama.
Actually, oh no, because actually I'll give my tidbit that, as you know, my podcast, I had a new episode launched today, which it's rebranded now. It's no longer Digital Dialogues. It's officially called the Building and Branding Podcast. And I'm filming an episode with Darlene next week. So I don't think her episode will release until probably like when we're at the experience, which might actually be great timing. But filming the episode with her next week. So I'm sure she'll get to share a little bit about her story and how that came to be.
I hope so. It's a good one. I think it's a good title too. I think you chose well. It's almost like you're in marketing or something.
Well, today was like the teaser episode that released that told the story a little bit of like why I even decided to change the name. So you can find the link on our Facebook page for Virtual Vision. Otherwise, actually, you know what I can do? I think if I'm, smart enough, I can figure out how to share our channel here. Hang on, I think I can figure out how to do this. Text. Look at this. I'll share this here. So this is a link to. This feels like a weird link, quite frankly, but I think probably there's better ways to do it. Either way, you can find the updated podcast right here, and check it out for future.
Fantastic. So I'm also very proud to see you. Well, actually, first of all, before we get off the trade shows, there's another event was just announced recently that we're going to be attending.
Yes. Okay. So what do you want to introduce the new event?
No, I insist. Go ahead.
Okay. So if you're in the restoration industry, you are probably very familiar with Phil Rosebrook with Business Mentors, and he is launching a new event specifically focused on on technology in restoration this fall. It'll be at the end of October in San Antonio. And we as Virtual Vision are super excited to be exhibiting there and be attending. And I actually had the opportunity to chat with Phil a little bit last week or maybe the week before about the event and what they have planned. And I'm confident it's going to be an awesome event and will just continue to grow, as it goes on. So so we'll be there. We'll be in Texas in October.
It's a beautiful time of year to be there, and we'll have some fun. That's good.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time for sure. For sure.
All right.
So what else we got for today, Mike?
Well, we got some, you know what? Last week, 2 weeks ago, we asked for some questions. We got some good questions from the people. I was very happy to see that. People pumping in, and we got to get to the business end of this podcast or this video, I
The
should say, and talk a little
business
bit.
end of it, yes.
So,
That's right.
what you know, it's we're through the travel season now. We're into this, and people are starting to really get down to different ways to make money and do marketing and get leads. And Amanda, that's where you, I mean, let's dive into some marketing updates. I guess what I'm getting into. One of the questions was basically looking at the latest trends in marketing and what you've been seeing. I mean, you've been closer to that than I am on the sales end, but let me ask you, what have you been seeing? What's different?
You know, I think probably the thing that I have been seeing the most, and maybe the question that I get asked the most often from people is, what about social media? Everyone wants to talk about leads and things like that, but obviously socials are a really big piece. And so I feel like the question that I get asked often is like, what should we be doing? And honestly, sometimes I think like if you don't already have a good social presence, don't overcomplicate it. Like be consistent in your socials and be personable. The reality is like why are short form videos becoming so popular? Because people can see the real personality of who they're talking to, or it just helps them like get a different glimpse into the business. And so I personally think that that's a really huge trend and something really cool to capitalize on and is really important, So I think that's a good place to start. I think that's really the big trend that I've been seeing. So, and probably the question that I get the most often.
No, for sure. It's funny. The social is one segment of the huge umbrella known as content marketing, and a good friend of mine, Joe Polizzi, is a big deal in content marketing forever. Since they coined that phrase. Like as you said, here's the rules are: you got to be consistent, like this. This is going to run every 2 weeks, forever, probably. Well, we'll do one now, and then we'll do it in a couple months. We'll do 3, and no, you've got to be consistent, and you've got to have good content that people want to hear. You can't just talk about nothing, and it's got to be a reason people tune in and do that. People can consistently provide content to people that they're compelling is the word I'm looking for. That'll help their social. That'll boost their numbers and get things going. And once you get their trust, then things will start. People start buying your products without even trying.
Yeah.
Don't be
without
pushy.
even trying.
You got to get this. You got to buy my widget. Just get their trust, and then they'll start to look into you further.
Absolutely. And I think socials is such a great way to do that. I think again that's where I'm like, we don't need to overcomplicate the concept of like doing socials. Promote your business, but do it in a way where you feel like you can be authentic and you're not faking who you are, but make it funny too. I just think there's really easy ways to have fun with it. So yeah, that's something that I've really seen really to be most popular in conversation that I've had, especially this month. I think overall, if you step back even just a little further, like there's the overall concept and idea that across the nation, realistically this year in 2024, as a digital marketing agency, we have seen that leads are down pretty much everywhere. And so I think right now there's a lot of conversation around socials because people are just prepping for storm season. They're prepping for what's coming down the road and getting ready for those because obviously we already had one big storm. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about more storms as they come, So I did find it funny because we had a pretty hefty storm here this weekend. Maybe like 2 months ago, we had a tornado. That's probably the closest it's ever been to our house. But then this weekend, we had a massive storm pop up out of nowhere with like 2-inch wide hail. It was huge. And not like it just hailed for a little bit. Like it hailed for a good 5-10 minutes. So of course, then, within a day, I come home and there's a door hanger. Did you get hail damage yesterday? And I was like, ooh, way to go, home services marketing. Like you are on it. People got that damage and are going to need things taken care of. So Yeah.
It's
So real life.
and that's you're right. You're right. That's good that they're on that, and it's good that they're doing their job and protecting the people because that's
Mhm.
part of the package that they bought.
Yeah.
When they bought the insurance, that's part of it. And
Yep.
boy, these storms, I'll tell you, we got about 3 inches of rain down here yesterday, which is a summer thing. But
Yeah.
man, looking around it, it's amazing to me how the earth can withstand so much water at once. And then 3 months ago, it was a drought. Oh boy, it's
Yeah.
trouble and gee whiz, but
Gee whiz.
everybody was running around just yelling, gee whiz, just kicking dirt.
Oh,
And now they're saying,
oh
we
my.
got too much water, gee whiz.
Gee
Right?
whiz.
Anyway,
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
well,
That's funny.
I think that this is the time, and it's talking about lead generation. We're talking about the restoration industry mainly. Now we talk
Yeah,
Official
yeah.
Vision. We deal with HVACR and plumbing and all the service industries, but
Yeah.
I think it kind of tied together. They're out there doing business right now, and storms are coming, and you have to get busy. So there's not a lot of people clicking things online, right?
Well, even just beyond like pay per click, like leads in general across the nation, it's been a slow year. Like it's just been a slow year. You talk about like winter, at least here, was like beyond mild. So not a lot of like ice dams and the damage that can come from that time of year.
Right.
And then it was a slow spring, but now it's like, whoa, storms, holy rain, super early big hurricane. Like there's a lot happening now. So not that you want to like hope big events for the end of the year by any means, but I mean, I guess it's looking good for the
Well,
industry
I
for that
know, I know.
perspective.
We touched on that a couple of weeks ago. I think it's weird. I find it weird. It was that's the earliest big storm, but
Yeah.
the latest first storm in a long time. And usually we're
Yeah.
into the later the alphabet, way into it by the time we get to Beryl.
Yeah.
So maybe who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
We think
No,
it's
I
going to
mean,
be
you're in
bad, but
Florida, so you'll probably know pretty fast. So you just go ahead and tell us.
well, yeah, we've done 2014, and there's been two major hurricanes. There wasn't a big hurricane in Naples, Florida, since like the 50s before Irma. So Irma and
Oh,
Ian, within 5 years, both came through here, and
wow.
so you got to think when you get around the eyes, maybe it's time to head somewhere else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
Ian, Irma, Ingrid. We don't have to do that. So anyway, we'll keep our eyes on it as we move forward.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, what else you got for today, Mike?
Well, you know what? I just felt that we needed to answer that question. We're very happy to answer that question from our viewer.
Yeah.
And remind people to send us in, both Mike or Amanda would answer all your questions, whatever you want to talk about. As far as marketing goes, what we hear in the restoration industry, trade shows, events, speaking, all that good stuff, we're happy to help.
Yeah.
What's a good jacket to wear with pants? We'll do anything. Anything you want. We'll do it, right?
I mean, if you really want fashion advice from us, I suppose we
Right.
can attempt that. But we are not claiming to be experts in that category.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's funny.
I think that I'm just looking forward to continuing on and getting ready for the next show in 2 weeks and getting ready to see everybody at the experience in about 8 weeks and all that fun stuff. I think.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to wrap up with today?
I have to do one quick shameless plug. Is that okay?
Yep.
Outside of the podcast that launched today, I have a partnership with R&R, and this really happened like before it was even a conversation about, you coming here. So it was very organic, but I post a monthly column with them, and just because we talked about it on this show today, the July article is out. It deals with that like age-old concept of pay to play, like the idea of online marketing and where things go from there. Because I think there's so much more, like you have to be mindful of how you look at the marketing game and the concept of pay to play and what's the best mindset to have when you look at an investment in marketing. Anyway, so that article is out. It talks through all of those things. I'm going to pop the link here so that you can access it and see how to get there. But I mean, I don't want to say like, I think it's a good article because obviously I wrote it, but certainly if it would be something that would be helpful and a good way to. I'll pop that link up one more time, but I think
approached
there's
me about 5 months ago with this idea, and I thought it was great. I love, and I'm not just saying that because you're here. We work together now. I mean, you've got a great mind for this sort of thing, and I thought that'd be an excellent addition to the fine stable of contributors that R&R has, providing us with a vantage point that we don't have, and you've not been a disappointment at all. And I'm sure they're very happy.
Oh, thanks.
So I'm happy to.
Thanks. I promise, folks, I did not pay him to say that.
No, it's legit, and you're providing some great stuff for the industry. And read it, man. It's on rnrmagonline.com every month. So, and it's quality marketing stuff from our friend Amanda.
Thanks. Maybe one of these days we'll get to do a collab article. That would be pretty fun, huh? You and I.
Yeah, I think so. I agree.
Awesome. Well, let's see. Do I have any fun questions? I feel like we chatted a little bit about what's going on, but let me see. Okay, so this is a silly question, but it is summer. Obviously, Wisconsin, it's hot there. It's like a balmy 65 today here.
Is it?
So it's real. I mean, I have a sweater on. It's crazy. What's your like go-to snack this time of year? I know that's a weird question, but if you're like, it's summer, I have the munchies. What are you going to go grab?
See, the problem with snacks for us, we like snacks. Like potato chips and Doritos and stuff.
Yeah.
So and it's horrible. We can't stop having them.
It's horrible, but you know.
I've always been a Doritos guy. You know, it's probably the worst thing you could have. You know what I like? If you liked, there's this pretzel out that is, I'm seeing her face right now. They're really salty. Hang on.
He's like, he's gonna go grab it. Oh, and off my. Oh, I hear the bag rustling.
There we go. These.
Oh, yes, those are so good.
The Dots. Those Dots pretzels.
They're good stuff. They have cinnamon sugar ones in there. Awesome.
There you go.
Look at that.
That's my go-to. How about you?
You know, my go-to, but I don't really allow myself to keep them in my house because if I open them, I can't stop, is Oreos. It doesn't matter the season. I love Oreos so much.
It's simple and delicious, right? I feel that way about Reese's. Same way, peanut butter and chocolate. Yeah. You get me every time. We had
Speaking of which,
yes.
Life hack. I don't know if you guys do this. Not like you're a different continent or something. It's just hot in Florida. But do you guys make s'mores? Like, do you do campfires and do s'mores?
Not down here, but back home in Ohio, I used to make s'mores all the time. Those are delicious.
Okay, life-changing hack for you on the s'more front. Replace the chocolate bar with a Reese's cup. Your life will be changed. It's fantastic.
Not a marshmallow guy.
Okay,
that sounds good. I like it.
Can we replace the marshmallow? I don't know what you do. Just heat up the Reese's cup and put it on a graham cracker. You'll be
okay. This conversation is taking a really. I'm gonna go eat now. I'm starving. We had pizza and beer and ice cream last night. I'm complaining about not losing those 10 pounds I want to lose. I don't know why. It stays on. But boy, was that good.
I love it. Well, Mike, it's always so good to chat with you. And for those that are watching, as Mike said, we want to take a question every week. We don't care what it's related to. So if you have a question for us, shoot it over. We'll answer it in our next one, our next midweek with Mike and Amanda in 2 weeks. I'm not actually sure what that date is, but it's towards the end of the month. So any final thoughts before we sign off, Mike?
Happy birthday to your daughter. I'll give everybody the Pseudopalooza results in 2 weeks. And be consistent with compelling content on your socials. That's the message of the day.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We will see you next time on Midweek with Mike and Amanda.
Thanks, everybody.